Hey everybody, what's up? Happy Friday. Woohoo! Today's Friday. Oh my gosh, we made it through. So I hope you guys are appreciating these videos. I'm appreciating the consistency. So this will make it video 11, right? So for today's video, we're going to talk about don't eat like your husband. Do not eat. I repeat, do not eat like your man. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So this entire series is called Weight Loss Advice You Need to Hear ASAP. Okay. And this is probably one of the best advice I will ever give you is do not eat like that man. Do not eat like him. Do not eat like him. Do not eat like him, right? Every time I've gotten in trouble with my weight, every time I've gotten in trouble with my weight was by eating, overeating, or keeping up with how my husband ate. And it's like, that's going to get you in trouble. And I decided to do this topic because I was talking to my mom last week, right? I was talking to my mom last week and she's in the house, right? She's eating with my dad. She's drinking wine with my dad. And I was like, sis, you might want to humble yourself, okay? Because first of all, my dad's a man, my mom's a woman, of course, right? But that's really important because he has more muscle mass than she does. People who have more muscle mass have faster metabolism. So when they eat the stuff, they process the food a whole lot sooner. Like they can actually spend that food source because when you eat the food, your food is turned into energy source. You know, it doesn't just sit there. So if you are eating with somebody that has more muscle mass, then you do not be deceived, right? They spend a lot of energy. Their metabolism is really fast because the body has to spend all this energy trying to just keep up with their muscle, trying to just keep up with how much activity they have going on throughout the day. Because in case you don't know, right, you have your active calories. So that's when you intentionally decide to go to the gym, right? When you intentionally decide to do a workout, those are called your active calories. Like, so on my Apple Watch, right, I will set my daily active calories to 1100. Okay. But you burn calories brushing your teeth. You burn calories, just taking care of business throughout the day, right? Like, so you need a certain amount of calories just to have the energy to do the basic stuff that you do just to maintain your lifestyle, right? And then you need even more calories, right, to burn when you decide to do a workout. And you need even way more calories when you decide to do workouts that are very intensive. So someone with more muscle mass than you, right, they got to move a heavier body and muscle than you, right? They spend way more calories than you. So when they eat stuff, they can get away with it. You understand? They can get away with it. Another thing also is genetics, right? I think your metabolism has a lot to do with your genetics. Your frame has a lot to do with your genetics, right? Some people, in genetic wise, they don't put on weight like that, right? You have people also, even if they put on weight, it's very easy for them to lose the weight because of their genetic, right? A huge part of weight loss, too, people have to be honest, is genetics. You know what I mean? Like, it really is. Like, for me, I can even tell for me, losing weight for me is a lot easier than most people, right? It's genetics. Your body frame is genetics. So I told her, like, listen, Dad, he's going to eat. He's going to drink, right? And even if he is to get big, I promise you, he will disappear for 3 months, come back with a flat tummy and some muscles. Meanwhile, you're going to be here struggling because over the past couple months, she's been working out consistently and with trainers and stuff like that. And I told her, don't look at this as a vacation. Like, you really have to preserve. You have to be very selfish. You have to maintain the work that you've done because putting on weight is so easy, but losing weight is so hard, right? So a lot of times when you are with the man, you just keep up with how much he eats. Like, my dad can eat. Oh yeah, let me snack this. Let me have this. Let me have a little bit of this. Let me have some wine and this and this and that. And before you know it, you've gone way over your caloric budget for the day, right? And then a day turns into a week of going over your caloric budget. Then it turns into a month of going over your caloric budget. Like, for me, my weight issues truly have started when I met my husband because he's a lot bigger than me. He's a lot taller than me, right? He has small lips. My lips are bigger. I always sounds like you have such small lips. You have a small mouth, small lip, but you have such a big tummy, right? He can eat. Like, he can really, really eat, right? He loves food. And I was like, you really have a food addiction. Like, I really had to tell him that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, because I've noticed, like, I don't even eat as much as I do by myself when I'm around him, I eat a lot more. When he's not next to me, I eat less, right? I eat less. And so even before, when I used to get stressed, when I used to be stressed in the past, I would not eat. Like for me being like when I was stressed, I wouldn't eat. So I would just drop so much weight. That's how I would deal with stress, right? But being with him, I became an emotional eater. I used to be an emotional faster. Like I would just not eat. If I'm stressed out, I'm not eating. So the pounds are just coming off of me so quickly. But being around him, I have created this habit of food, loving food. And then we live in New Orleans, so that's even way more food, and food for comfort, food for joy, food for this, food for that, food for this, and this and that. You understand? And so I've had to get to a point where I'm recognizing, like, him and I, we can't eat the same. Like, it's a scam, sis. Like, you know how they have that thing on TikTok that was like, what is one thing that is so popular that you don't even realize it's a scam? Trying to eat trying to eat and keep up with the way your man eats. Like, it will get you in trouble. It will legitimately get you in trouble. Do not eat like those people, okay? Do not eat like them. Like, don't you dare. Don't do it to yourself, right? Be very mindful. Most men can get away eating twice the amount of food you're eating, right? Because they probably have twice, if not 3 times the amount of muscle mass that you have, right? You can't handle that. A lot of times too, most men tend to be more active than women. Don't do it. You're going to lose. Like, it's a losing proposition. Like, do not do it. Don't do it, right? If you decide to eat alongside the man, like, make sure that you stay on portion control. You understand? Make sure you stay on portion control. Make sure you stay on portion control. But remember, y'all gonna both eat this meal, okay? You're gonna both eat this meal. You're gonna eat the same quantity of food. But then you're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be stuck with the weight. You're gonna be stuck not feeling good. You're gonna be stuck not liking your body. But yet here he goes, acting like, looking like y'all didn't eat the same amount of food. Like, I'm telling you, it's something. Like, it really, really is something, right? So that's something that you have to be very mindful of. I can't eat the same way as my husband. I can't have the same quantities as my husband. I can't do the same amount of glass of wine that he's doing. You know, like yesterday, I was on Instagram, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, but I was like, you see, this is exactly my point. So this lady, she's overweight. Not to be offensive, but she is overweight. Like, just me. I'm overweight too. So, but she is morbidly obese. Like, you know, it's real. And so she has been taking up running, which is awesome. Like, you know, she just ran a marathon, which is really awesome. And she ran, like, her husband was right there with her as she was doing the marathon. Do you know how fit the husband was? I was like, you see, this is my point. This is my point. And how much do you want to bet? Like, how much do you want to bet they eat the same food? Right? How much you want to bet they eat the same food? They drink the same drinks. They have the same cup of wine, right? But he gets to have all these muscles, right? Like, I mean, he's not like completely chiseled, but you can tell like he has muscle, like he has muscle on him, right? And her, look at her body now, right? She is obese and he is fit. And I was like, you see, and this is the mistake that a lot of wives make. I've made that mistake too. So don't feel like I'm just talking about you. I'm like pointing fingers at you, girl. I'm talking about myself also, okay? And trust and believe, when I make these videos, also, I am ministering to myself. Okay? All right. Because first and foremost, you got to apply what you teach to people, right? First and foremost, you have to live. You know what I mean? You got to live what you preach to people. So always know, when I'm talking to you guys, I'm really talking to myself out loud because you're not here right now. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. And I was like, and that happens a whole lot. You know what I mean? Even in a quarantine, like how many wives, girlfriends, women trying to keep up with their man, like, you know, eating the same amount of food, drinking the same amount of wine, blah, blah, blah. And we forget that we don't have the same genetics. We forget that we don't have the same amount of muscle mass. We forget that we don't exercise the same, right? We forget that we're not as active. You know what I mean? Men tend to be on average active. Now, you do have some guys who are straight up, you know, unactive, whatever, it's facts. But the majority of the time, though, men tend to be a bit more active than women are, right? Men tend to be out there a bit more, cutting the grass. Like, they'll find things to do around the house that helps them to burn calories. We usually tend to sit, right? We tend to sit to work, sit to watch TV. You know, even if you watch the kids, you're not exerting that much energy, right? So that's a real thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to talk about this tomorrow, you know, because you might not even be aware, right? You might not be aware, like, you know what? I eat as much as my man, but I got to remember that we don't have the same height because, and that's another thing too, two people can have the same weight and look completely different. Oh my gosh. Like, so one person can be 175, another person can be 175. They could both be females, right? You can have two women who weigh 175. One will look obese and one will be like super fit, right? Because it doesn't look the same, right? Because height matters, your frame matters, right? Genetics play a role in all of that. But not just that too. It could be 175 with a whole lot of visceral fat. And then you can have 175 that's just muscle. They look completely different, right? It's the same weight on the scale, but you look at those two people, they look completely different. The frame, the height, the muscle mass, the percentage of body fat, it's not the same composition, right? So you see that happening all the time. You'll be like, wow. I know a lot of times when I tell people, especially now, oh, I'm 200 pounds. They'll be like, oh, Martha, you don't look 200 pounds. Well, duh. You know what I mean? The way I look at 200 pounds, another person could look completely better or completely worse at 200 pounds. You understand? Because height also, the taller you are, the more you can spread, I guess, the obesity, right? The more you can spread the fat. The shorter a person is, everything is more condensed. So it's more visible, right? But you have a lot of people who are overweight, but because they're taller, right, it spreads a whole lot better. So you don't think it's like, oh, it's that bad. No, because they're taller, but it's just that bad. If you see a person that has a shorter frame and is obese, it's like, oh my gosh, like this is concerning, right? But you see somebody who's super tall and they're overweight, you're not going to be as concerned, but yet they're both overweight. They both, like, for their height, their size, they both carry the same amount of body fat percentage that's very unhealthy in both cases, right? Perception is everything, right? So be very mindful of that, right? Even also too, if you have teenagers too, right? Young people are very blessed during that time period of their lives that their metabolism works really, really fast. And the thing is, most young people, especially if they go to school here, they have PE at school, right? They have PE like 3 or 4 times a week, and they're running a mile at least like 3 to 4 times a week. So young people are very active and they're still growing. So their body needs a lot of energy, right? So as a parent or as an adult, you can't keep up with teenagers when it comes to how they eat. It's not going to end well for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it truly is not going to end well for you, right? So I'm not going to make this video too long, right? I just wanted to just say, you know, do not eat the same way as your spouse, right? I mean, you guys can have the same meals. A lot of wives cook for the entire family, right? So is it always convenient to make separate meals? Not really. Let's be realistic, right? Sometimes also you have husbands who cook for the entire family. So my point is, at the end of the day, most families tend to share the same meal every day, right? Or like every dinner, whatever, they share the same food. That it is what it is, right? My thing, I'm just saying, just practice portion control, right? Practice portion control. Remember that you and your husband don't have the same metabolism, okay? Remember that you and your husband don't have the same height. Remember that you and your husband also don't really have the same dominant hormone. Like, we as women, estrogen is more dominant, right, in us. And you know, estrogen makes us round, you know, it makes us puffy also. Like, child, that thing is something else, right? Men have more testosterone than you. So that helps them also in having all this muscle mass, keeping their muscle mass. That's why you'll see a lot of females who go into bodybuilding, you know, you know, what do? They use a lot of steroids, right? And a lot of these steroids are testosterones. That's why a lot of females who stay into bodybuilding, keep doing bodybuilding, over time, they start to look more masculine, right? Because it is not normal, right, for a woman to hold on to that much body weight, right? Women are not built to have all of this muscle, like to carry all this muscle, right? you don't have testicles. So it's like, why do you have so much muscle, right? So one of the most popular ways for these girls to put on all this muscle mass and to keep the muscle mass and to get that big is by using steroids, right? That's why they start having these shoulders with the big head. This is not normal. You know what I mean? It's induced with drugs. And then they end up in the hospital and get cut up. You know what I mean? Like every time you see a bodybuilding person end up in the hospital getting cut up somewhere, it's consequences of performance enhancing drugs, steroids that they've abused, right? Because that stuff is rampant in the bodybuilding world. You know, that's why when you see girls on Instagram who have these gorgeous bodies with the muscles and the very well-defined abs, and it seems like they only have 1% body percentage, and you see in their bio that they do bodybuilding, bikini bodybuilding, IFBB pro type of bodybuilding, be very careful, okay? I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, she's goals. I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you use steroids, like, duh, you're going to be cut up. You're going to be cut up. Right? They do a lot of stuff. The girls in the bodybuilding stuff, they do a whole lot of stuff. They do a lot of unhealthy stuff, you know, and the stuff, it harms your kidneys. It harms your intestines, your liver. I personally wouldn't recommend that. Okay. I personally wouldn't recommend that. That's just me. All right. So be very mindful of that. Like we're not dominant in the same hormone. As a woman, I have more estrogen. As a man, he's going to have more testosterone. So those testosterones also help him to have more muscle mass. More muscle mass, a faster metabolism, more energy being spent. So when you eat, your body's very efficient in turning that food into an energy source, right? Me, we ain't there yet. Okay? We ain't there yet. So ladies, please be mindful as we keep going into this holiday season, as we keep we're going to have more events. We're going to meet with more families. We're going to have more food to eat, more drinks to have, et cetera, et cetera. Enjoy the food. Most definitely, you know, you should eat. It's the holidays, right? But eat in moderation, right? And when the holidays are done, keep eating in moderation. Keep in mind your goals, right? Keep in mind all the hard work that you've put in, okay? Because like I said, it's very easy to put on weight. It is so much harder to lose it. And that can cause sadness, depression. It can make you want to quit. It can get you to be frustrated. You're like, man, what's the point? The scale is not moving, right? So in order to have a fitness journey that you enjoy, in order to see results and to keep your results, right, you have to be mindful with how you eat, right? And when you eat alongside your man, you got to be mindful, like, I got to stop. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. I throw in the towel, you know what I mean? You won. I'm good. Got to go, right? And like I said in the other video, there's always tomorrow, right? Know how many calories, as you are in this current weight loss journey of yours, right? Know how many calories you need for maintenance, okay? You have to know what your caloric budget is for the day, okay? 22,000, 2,500, I don't know. It all depends on your weight loss goals, right? They have calculators on Google that can do the math for you and pretty much sort of kind of, you know, within a reasonable ballpark, tell you how many calories you need to take per day to successfully reach your weight loss goals, right? So as you eat with your family, as you eat with your man, as you eat with your kids, right? Eat, but eat in respect of your caloric budget for the day. And if you have exceeded your caloric budget for the day, there's always tomorrow, okay? There's always tomorrow. If your stomach is still feeling empty, drink some water, right? You can have some water. You can have some tea. There's so many good teas out there, lemongrass tea, black tea, I don't know, ginger tea. You can make your own ginger tea, right? But if the belly is still feeling slightly empty, right? Drink some water. Drink some water, right? Or make yourself a cup of oatmeal so that you have those fibers. When they go into your belly, they will expand and, you know, satiate you. You know, you can have like a unsweetened Greek yogurt, right? But know when to say, okay, it's enough, right? I can always have more tomorrow. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave your comments, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Oh, if you haven't tried the Stairmaster yet, please do, okay? And if you haven't voted on battle of the dresses of the day, remember I post dresses every single day and we vote on them to stay motivated. Please do. I'm Marlene, and thanks again for spending time with me. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.